what's up? Welcome back to A Tribe Called Dylan podcast. I'm Angie Dillon.
And I'm Rose Dillon.
And I'm Alvin Dillon. And if you smell what the tribe is cooking.
Oh, this is, I feel like you got me excited for WWE, but I really wanted to say WWF.
Yeah, gotta give a shout out to The Rock.
Ooh, you jabroni.
Candy, yes.
I loved his lines.
I did too.
I did. Okay, so Rose, you are the moderator. We have Miko Dillon in the house today.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Where are you going?
Who is he channeling today?
That's right.
Oh, do you want to make your debut?
What the tribe is cooking.
Okay, well, Miko is on
got the
set
message.
today. He's making us another cameo appearance.
Good boy.
Okay. I guess he's passionate about today's topic as well. And what is today's theme?
Well, I figured since you two are both Seinfeld fans, that we should just have an episode on random stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask us a bunch of random questions.
Okay.
It'll give the viewers a chance to get to know us better, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, like what is it? Seinfeld used to have episodes on like nothing. The show was kind of like
Pretty
about
much,
nothing,
that's what I've
right?
been told.
Yeah, but it's a brilliant show. Jerry Seinfeld, genius.
Al, I haven't watched Seinfeld yet. I know, I haven't.
I think I watched it maybe a couple of weeks ago. It's like a show about nothing. I didn't get it until I was older. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this show's lame. And then as I got a little older, I was like, oh wow, it's actually really funny. You got to be into that kind of comedy though, but I find it pretty funny. Like the Soup Nazi episode, and there's so many good episodes.
I agree.
Kramer was hilarious. It was really good comedy.
I got into Seinfeld when I got older as well. Completely have to agree. I didn't understand the humor when I was younger, but as I got older, I really appreciated the humor. And is Miko acting up again today? He sure is. He's getting up to no good. This is why he's only allowed, this is why we negotiated in his contract, like occasional cameo appearances. He was asking for a lot of money.
Yeah.
His agent was.
He's a little difficult to work with.
He is, yeah. He's definitely a diva.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see what he's up to no good right now.
He's a one-man show.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So
All
do you
right,
want
you guys ready
to
to
take
kick
it
it
away?
off?
Yeah,
Yep.
let's do
Okay,
it.
let's get into the first question, everyone. Okay. So again, we'll start this way, Al, and we'll work our way this way. So if you could have your dream job, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would have to say my dream job would be probably a collaboration or a mix of two professions into one. The first one would be definitely I enjoy comedy. I feel like I'm pretty funny. I feel like I'm honing in on my craft, and I would love to have a stand-up special one day and make everyone laugh. Because for me, when I see people laughing and just forgetting about their problems and just having a great time and seeing a smile on their face, that lights me up. And I also like to laugh at my own jokes. So when I make a joke, I first like to laugh myself, and then by default, everybody else around me laughs. So that would be my first one. And then second one would be, I really want to help like the less fortunate in the world.
You're like
the less fortunate, because it honestly breaks my heart whenever I see documentaries or I see these foundations in like third world countries, and they're showing like children that are dying of starvation, and they have no hope for the future because they don't have any basic needs such as electricity, running water, or clean water. And it's just the basic needs. And we're talking 2022, and we're still dealing with these kinds of issues.
23.
Now we're into 2023.
Yeah, and I feel like what they really need is the kids need education.
Agreed.
They need to have education to break that generational cycle of poverty. And once they start learning to do better, be smarter, they can help their future kids and their future generation to grow and be better and make their community a better place to live and also give back. Because I feel like there's a lot of places where the kids grow up and then they leave their home country and they don't come back. But I feel like there's so much work that needs to be done that is not being done right now by the billionaires, and there's plenty of money to go around. So I think that's one of my two of my passions.
But we can't always just blame problems on the billionaires, right? We have to look at a country. Why is a country still in a third world standing? Is it because the government's corrupt? Are the people corrupt? There's usually always other aspects as well, right?
But generally, when you always look at these poverty-stricken countries, they have plenty of resources. We get most of our resources from their countries, but yet we're flourishing and they're still in the same state they were 40 years ago. And if you look at like South Africa was starting to come up now, but other countries where they have diamonds, they have so many like
Minerals and precious resources.
precious stones, and none of it goes back to them. Sometimes you'll see the footage like how they showed cobalt mining, and people say where your cell phones and stuff that go on your cell phones, where it comes from, and they show these cobalt mines, and it's like, it's so disheartening to see that just like 10,000 people is hand digging in the mine, and that's how you're getting your stuff. But they don't want to show you that, because then you can start thinking.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
All right, Ange, I guess you want to answer that question. Well, if you could have a dream job, what would it be and why?
Okay, one is for sure dream, and another one is maybe like an aspiration. So the first one is, ever since I was a little kid, at that time we didn't have the term human rights activist. I wanted to be a human rights lawyer, and I wanted to defend the rights for those that don't have a voice or that are too afraid to speak up. And I remember my dad shut it down because he thought I wanted to be a defense lawyer, and he thought I was going to defend OJ, because at that time the OJ trial was on, and he thought I was going to be a criminal defense lawyer. And I didn't have the voice and the knowledge, the intel and the insight at that age to say, no, Dad, that's not the kind of lawyer I want to be. I want to, help people around the world. So when Amal Clooney came on stage, and everyone said she's a human rights lawyer, I'm like, oh, that's my dream job. That's what I want to do. That is when I'm the most happiest, when I'm helping other people. So ideally, like NATO, United Nations, if you need an ambassador that can speak 3 languages, I'm your girl. So that's my ultimate job. And my second dream job is, we're going to talk about this on another episode. I grew up watching WWF. We all did. Mm-hmm. And back then it was called WWF. But I actually want to be a ring announcer. Like, I want to come and announce a main fight. Like, do you remember when Mean Gene Okerlund would announce when Hulk Hogan was fighting? It was like the main event, and he would come on and just be the hype person for everyone in the crowd. Like, I mean, whether it's UFC or WWE, I just want to come and announce a main event.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's awesome.
I bet you secretly wanted to do that too, but I said that, right? I said it before you.
But I would actually like to be in the ring. I just want to break myself.
I want to announce a fight. So that's an aspiration or a goal. What about you?
Okay, well, I guess we're on the thread of helping people. I definitely don't want to be in the ring announcing, but my dream job would be if I could become a psychic. I know it sounds interesting, funny, but do you know how, or I should say a medium, not maybe a psychic, because I don't really want to predict your future, but mostly to unite ones that have passed over. Because I think it'd be such a nice gift to give someone if I was at the grocery store and I said, did your mom pass away? And she says, yes. And I say, she's got a message for you. Mm-hmm. Like, to give people that peace of mind, like my loved ones on the other side are happy and they're at peace. And, so that would be my absolute dream job, is to
be a psychic,
be a psychic medium.
So you should hit up like Tyler Ahead and be like, yo,
basically,
Tyler,
teach me how to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if this can be taught though, or if this is something you're just born innately with. Like, I don't know if this is something that you could.
Do you think you have any, like, do you think you have some psychic abilities?
I feel like I'm getting really good into my intuition now. I'm starting to like read people a little more better. Those things, I think, as I've been doing the meditations and kind of quieting my mind down, I'm getting really good at that. But I don't know if I'm there to be able to pick up cues from the opposite side.
What am I thinking right now?
See, I don't know what you're thinking right now.
I'll tell you, Popeye's chicken.
Well, I was going to actually guess that. You should always guess that. It's always some fried food.
I should have guessed
some fried food. All right. Next question.
Next question, guys. Ready? What is a weakness that you need to work on?
I already know mine.
Go ahead.
I need to improve my listening skills, active listening skills, because that's actually one of the hardest things to do. We can hear someone, but are you really listening to that person? So I think for me, I hear ya, but am I really processing what you're saying? So I need to improve that.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Well, Al, while you're thinking, I'll jump in. I know for me is conflict is still something that just makes me nervous, stresses me out. And if I'm in a conflict situation, my initial thing is, how quickly can I run away from this situation?
Yeah, she's a runner.
So I think that's something, a weakness of mine that I need to start working on, is just being able to at least just stand there and take it. you
So
know?
deal with adversity head
Yes.
on, right? Don't
Yeah.
run away from the problem.
Exactly.
Deal with it
My
right.
initial thing is just go lock myself in the room and hide under the bed. And that's probably because I did that as a child. So
Is that why do you
Gotta
think
buck up.
Yeah, of
is that
course.
why you think it is?
Oh yeah, I'm confident that it takes me back to, when we were younger and your parents yell at you or they say things and it hurts you. You don't know how to handle it because they're your parents. So for me was I couldn't talk back. I didn't have a voice. So I would just go run into my room and lock the door and hide under the bed.
Well, at least now you know you can't fit under the bed. So that's one option you
I
can't
actually
go
can
to.
still fit under the
Oh,
bed.
that's got a high bed.
So that carried on and manifested as you
In
got
my adult-
older.
yep.
So you caught yourself with that.
Yeah, I've caught that now that I need to stop running and deal with
That's
it.
good.
head on.
Yeah.
I think I would have to say mine is one of my weaknesses is being a perfectionist. I tend to just overthink some small details and it'll fester and I'll think about tomorrow while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And there's some things where you're just like, I just got to let it go and let it be and let the universe take over. Let Jesus take the wheel because there's only so much you can do. So I think that's one of my things that I have to work on is that just do your best and know that you did your best and let the rest just be.
Where do you think that perfection mentality comes from? Because I don't
Probably
think
from
I
Dad,
Okay.
Dad's
100%. I
when you
had
do
the same
something
problem.
well, it's good too because I've always been taught like when you do something, you do it properly and you do it right. And like Mike Holmes says, if you're gonna do it right, you do it right the first time. So when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, then it carries over into even small things, and the small things now become a big task in your head. But it's got to be just this way. If something's off, then in your mind you're like, it can't be like it has to be this way, and then you're like, no, it's okay. Sometimes if I shoot things and I look back like, hey, no, it should have been done like this. And I look back at the footage and I'm like, oh, it works. It looks fine. I'm like, so I just let it be.
We are going to blame Mike Holmes and Dad for your.
I won't blame them. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
they're giving me the gift and the curse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I understand
I
where
blame
you're
no
coming from
one.
because I think
I
we
take
all have
responsibility.
that.
Yeah.
I love
I
Mike
used to
Holmes.
have that.
Yeah, I blame no
perfectionist,
one.
and I've worked on that. So I hear you where you're coming from. But good for you. That is a great weakness to work on.
Good job, Melvin. Good
All
job.
right, on the theme of questioning, here we go. Next one. What is a good book that you are reading or you have read that you would recommend to the viewers?
Okay, well, I'm in between two books now, and I really should finish either one of them. I have started Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Great book.
And I am also reading Sadhguru's Inner Engineering, and I'm on chapter 3, which is very interesting, but I just need to find the time to finish either one of them.
So would you say they're great reads that you'd recommend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think if I had to, Eckhart Tolle and Sadhguru, they're both amazing and in their own way. But if I had to give one book a little more edge than the other, I would say Inner Engineering by Sadhguru.
Yeah.
I just finished Where's Waldo? So I'm really a big picture book kind of guy. That was a hard one though. I really couldn't find him on the last page. It was
okay.
a tough one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I just finished the Bhagavad Gita. That's the one you made me read.
Yep.
And I get it now. I feel like there's some other books that you need, before you read that, you need to read this. And I was in the right mind state to read it. So that was pretty enlightening. There's a lot of words I couldn't get because they also use like Hindi translation in there, but it was a good read and it opens your mind up to think a little differently. So that one I just completed, and I've just started The Alchemist. So
that's a good book.
about 30, 40 pages into it. So I'm just getting
That's
there.
by Paulo Coelho, right?
Yeah. Not sure of the name, but I think he's Brazilian.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Yeah. For me, I think what I would recommend to the viewers would be Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I've listened to it twice. I've read it twice. It's a really powerful book to just help you understand how thoughts can come into your mind and how they influence your life. And it's just, I think it's really designed for like first world country kids to understand. Like Bhagavad Gita is definitely something that's a really deep read, and you got to kind of go through life and books to understand that.
Yeah.
But I think Untethered Soul is a great book for people who are just up and coming and thinking about spirituality and just want to tap into that. I highly recommend that book.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Some books are meant to be read at certain life stages because sometimes if you're too young, it doesn't
Right.
resonate with you. It goes over your head. Like when you had told me about the Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, this was maybe a year and a half ago. I was not in a mind state to even understand that. I tried 5 pages of it. I couldn't understand anything. And I went back to it. I started that. I just finished that story a month ago too. And I was like, oh, I get it. Like there's a lot to understand, but I got the gist of what he's saying about just being in the now and not worrying about yesterday or tomorrow. And that's where you actually get your sense of peace, when you just focus on being.
And the other thing is, when you're reading a book, like sometimes people have a race with themselves, right? To read the book in X amount of days. But it's, my philosophy has always been take your time and absorb the content, because certain chapters are heavy sometimes, right? So take your time reading it. And you might even have to go back. I know with inner engineering, I don't know how many times I went back to the same page. I was like, what is he really trying to say? And then you're like, oh, I get it. It has to. And sometimes, when you're in a funk, that information is not going to absorb as well as on a day when you're more open and receptive. Right.
That's why I said I did Untethered Soul, I think 3 times. I think I'm working my way to my 4th.
I think I have a 20-minute limit. Like after 20 minutes, my tank is full and there's nothing else going in there.
Well,
and if I
especially when
try
they're
to
deep
read,
reads.
I'll go back after I'm like, what did I just even read? And I stop paying attention.
Yeah. That's why I'm not a fan of audiobooks. I find that I just can trail off somewhere versus reading it. I'm paying attention.
Yeah. And I prefer physical books.
Me
but
too.
with nowadays, like with the pricing of it and the ease of having it on your phone, wherever you go, you have to carry a stack of books with you. It's just how digital I get is easier, but I still like the feel of the original book.
Me too. I like a physical book as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Next question here. So you get 1 day to do whatever you want. There is no financial limits. How do you spend that day?
No. Okay. Read that question again.
You get 1 day to do whatever you want. There are no financial limits. How do you spend your day?
Ooh, that's a good one. I can go if you're like,
Miko can go as well.
Yeah.
I think he wants to
he
go.
already lives the dream.
Yeah.
Carried half the time. Everyone feeds him on time.
Yep.
If he gives that little cute look, you get him a treat.
Belly rub. He negotiate that in his contract.
Yep. He takes over the bed when he sleeps. But yeah, I would say one of the things I want to do is, I guess they probably have the technology out, but it's still like not widely available. But I want to be like in a sky car, but like it's almost like what's that Iron Man, like where he's in a suit and he can fly anywhere he wants, and so you can get like a bird's eye view of everything. You can go hang out with the birds at the top. You can go to a mountain and you just flying there, and then hopefully if you have the juice in your suit, that you can go to space, so you can go see the Earth from down below. But it's safe to do so, where you don't have to worry about your oxygen tank and whatnot, and go see what's outside, what's out there. Like I really want to see, besides our solar system, is there a parallel universe? Like is there another universe that's smarter than us? Because they always say, oh, aliens have come here, and because they look at us and they say, wow, all these people do is kill each other, there's really no sign of intelligent life on this planet, so they just come and leave. So I think there's got to be a solar system or another parallel universe out there that's like the Matrix or something like that. There's something going on. So that's what I want to do. I just want to be able to cruise around bird's eye view, and because I love aerial views of everything, like that show Aerial America. I can watch that for like 4 hours straight.
All right.
I think Miko's acting up, Rose.
I'll go grab him. You go on.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
Oh God, this is a really hard one. I have something that I kind of want to do and I want to say, and I'm not sure.
Tell it like it is.
Fine. I'm just going to go and say it. And if people think it's silly, then that's so be it. But so basically I have unlimited resources and it's 1 day and I can go do whatever I want, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to take a playbook from what was his name? Was it Bruce Wayne, his actual name in the movie? So I want to be a superhero and maybe Catwoman. But like, I want to be positive Catwoman. I don't want to go fighting people and stuff. And I don't want to crawl on things, but I want to be a superhero in the sense where maybe I'll join forces with a real life Batman. And I want to go and help people, maybe, like go down a dark street. And if there's, like I see someone that's, like living on the street or homelessness, give them some money, some shelter, some food, and just kind of, and I don't know, I have unlimited resources, obviously. So I'd have a stack of cash and I would just go out and maybe like prowl the night to try and make people's life a little bit better that evening.
Oh, that's a really good answer.
Be like a secret Santa Claus.
And because I want to dress up in latex secretly. No, just kidding. I actually have a Catwoman outfit and I bought it. It's awesome. It's like a Matrix one, but I haven't had a Halloween party to go and wear it to. And it's not an appropriate outfit to wear into the office.
Just don't go down people's chimneys because that'll be considered home invasion.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to do that, I think. And no one knows it's me because I'm in disguise, right? No one knows it's me. I got money and I'm making a difference and I feel good about it. And then I will be able to practice gratitude.
Oh, wait, I gotta add one more thing there too now.
No, stop trying to steal
I have
mine.
one thing, but I would really like to be invisible one day. Then you can get into like all levels of the world and how the world is run, all the
That should have been-
politics
let me
behind
have
it,
that answer. I don't
and
have one.
just go and see
You
what's
stole
going
her-
on and just listen in and be like, oh, okay, I see how these think, how they
You stole
think.
her answer. She wanted us to say invisible.
Oh, you want to
No,
see
I didn't
invisible?
steal it. I was like
Oh.
thinking, I'm like, I don't really know what I want to do.
Well, you're the
They
one
want
who
to be
came
a
up with the
psychic medium.
question.
No, it's for you. I didn't have an answer. I don't have an answer.
You can take mine if you want. My second one.
Okay, I'll steal your second
be
one.
invisible.
No, I do. I would love to be invisible
Yeah.
for the day. That'd be great. But I actually don't have a real answer, so I'm not gonna lie and just make
Come
up
back.
something.
Maybe in
But-
6
Yeah.
months we'll
Wouldn't
ask
you
you
want
that
to be?
question.
But wouldn't you want to be invisible, but then also have the power to go into someone's mind and influence them? So if they're making a bad decision, like they're saying, we're going to go to war with this country right now, we're going to go bomb them, and then something comes and says, how about we just send them lots of love and light and lots of candies?
That's a good one.
That is a
And
really
then
good
tell
one.
them to read Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
those are tough ones.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. If you could interview any person on this planet, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I know who I'd want.
Very go ahead.
Nipsey Hussle. Growing up, of course, I think with any kid that grew up in the 90s, hip hop was a big influence. Everybody listens to Tupac, Biggie, and as you're growing up, a lot of times you look at them as role models. And as I got older, I found that with the 90s generation, the rap started changing and the hip hop started changing, where it started becoming less about the lyrics, less about the meaning of the song, less about what helping you along your way. It started just talking more about drugs, money, and women, and it just started. I found that started being the same old type of music that was coming out there. Nothing was quality, and I like to listen to quality music. So then Nipsey Hussle came along, and he was like kind of like just coming up, and I used to listen to his music, and I really resonated with it. It was very uplifting, very motivational. He was the one that taught me the quote where he said, life is a marathon, not a sprint. Because he said, you're going to go through your ups and downs. You're going to deal with all types of emotions. He's like, I'm not any different. He's like, I've done it, but you got to be consistent and you got to have a goal and you got to work towards that goal. And it doesn't matter what it takes, but if you're passionate about it, you just keep working towards it and the universe will align and things will work itself out. So I listened to a lot of his music, especially during some of my tough times. And that's what got me through a lot of like motivation when I was down and out, and he'd be like, you just got to pick yourself back up and you got to keep going. He's like, we all go through it. He's like, this is God testing you. This is the universe sending you a test. And if you can't deal with this, how are you going to deal with the more successes that are going to come with it?
Bigger problems. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's someone that I would love to interview and meet, because he wasn't just about the music. He was also about helping his community. When he passed, tragically, there were so many things that we learned about what he was doing, about schools in his neighborhood where they couldn't get any funding. And he would go and say, okay, I'll pay for the basketball hoop. I'll do this. Because when kids are playing sports, it keeps them off the street. And it gives them also an opportunity to, you never know, you can make it to the NBA or college ball. So he saw the big picture, and he was one of the first few people that said, I'm going to bring businesses back to Crenshaw and Compton area. He's like, we need to start owning our own land, owning our own houses. And that was a big problem where most of the community there, the Latino and Black community, did not own their own house. They were renting from somebody else. And he said, we need to change that. He's like, that's the problem. So he was the first one to buy out his store, where he started selling clothing, and then he would bought the building, and he wanted to build a high rise there. And he started also this company, I think it's called Vector 90, where he has a space where people can come and collaborate with each other. If you're a producer, you're a writer, he gives up the space to you where you can just come and work and network with people. He was doing a lot of great things. He probably would have been on track to be like a billionaire with a conscience.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I like that. Billionaire with a conscience. That's
It seemed like he was trying to build a community of like-minded people.
His spirit, everything about him. Like when you listen to his interviews, you never hear something that's just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like when you think of a typical rap artist, you watch one of his interviews and it inspires you, and you're like, whoa, I want to do better. Like
his partner Lauren London, I think, is carrying on a lot of his work.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, and his brother, and his whole team, they're carrying
great.
on a lot of it. And he's said it too. He had the opportunity to get signed to Rick Ross coming up when he was just coming up, and he said that, you know what's going to happen is if I sign to you, he's like, you're going to end up getting all the credit. He's like, I want my team to get the credit because they're the ones who helped Nipsey Hussle get to where he is. So he's like, I really appreciate the offer, but he's like, I got to take it the long road and go with my team. So we all can benefit. And he was one of the first few people that actually taught artists, say, own your own music. Don't just go and get a contract just to get that $1 million, because once you don't own your own music, when you get bigger, what's going to happen? The record label is going to make all the money off you, and you're going to get own your own content. So he was the first few people to actually utilize social media and say, no, it might take me 10 years to get there, but I'll take my time with it. And he owned all his rights to his own music till the day he died.
Amazing.
That's great. I just learned so much about him.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rest in peace, bro.
Yeah.
Ange? One person you could interview, dead or alive.
I got so many people that I would love to interview. But if there's one person
now, one person, I guess, at this
one person alive. Yeah, one person. I actually have always been fascinated by this individual, and I respect them. They dealt with adversity head on. They continue to deal with adversity. They were an individual that was high on at one point in life, and they've kind of went to the bottom and they brought themselves back up, and you see the highs and lows and the trials and tribulations of life with this person, and it has to be Mike Tyson. I think he's a phenomenal human being. I think he has an amazing soul. There's something about him. And I don't like all the negative comments about him. And I just think he's just an individual that, may have lost his way in life, and he didn't have maybe the most positive people around him when he was in his prime and when he was high on top, because there's that quote by Denzel Washington. How does it go? I think the devil comes after you when you're at your highest. And I think that's what happened to Mike Tyson, and just the way that he's come back and redeemed himself, and all the work that he's doing, and all the inner work that he's done, because you see a transformation in him, right? To go from being from this dark energy to a positive energy, and he's just so authentic and open about his struggles, and I resonate with people like that because I have my own struggles, we all do. And so to connect and learn from him and see what's worked for him, what continues to work, what he would recommend, I would just, and the fact that he's one of the greatest boxers of all time. I watched all of his fights.
And we used to look forward to it.
Right.
The pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sometimes people would pitch in to be like, okay, the pay-per-view is expensive. Let's all go to one person's house, pitch in for it, and order the pay-per-view. Yeah. And it was a lot of times it'd be so hyped for it, it'd be over in 2 rounds because he would knock the guy out so fast that everyone would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, damn, we didn't get our money's worth. Yeah, I would say, of course, Muhammad Ali, rest in peace, one of the greatest boxers, but Mike Tyson, of our time, and the fact that we saw him in his prime and we still see him, and just, I would probably be I don't get starstruck by anyone, but I'd be like, oh my God, Mike.
It's because I think he also took a lot of accountability for his actions. That when he made all those mistakes where he was being abusive to his previous girlfriends and wives, and he knew what he did was wrong. And that's, I think, what shows the true sign of his character and his integrity, that he was able to own it. And he realized too, he's no, I was completely wrong. And when you see him now on his podcast, total 180, and he's all okay, and he can handle life now in better situations, because I thought when he was down and out, I was like, he won't come back. I can't believe how many people took advantage of him, and he was dead broke, and he bounced back. And that fight, he just did that fight a few years ago. It was kind of an exhibition match, but if you saw those training videos that he's in, the shape and the speed that he was functioning at for a 50-year-old was unbelievable.
Yeah, much respect to him, and I just think he's an amazing human. One day we'll meet you, Mike and Ange. One day we're going to talk it out, and you're going to teach me about life, the ways, adversity, and I also know he's found spirituality. So that really hits home
he interviewed Sadhguru. Sadhguru was on his podcast. It was a
great interview.
It was amazing.
Highly recommend that to the viewers.
And what about you? If I can ask the same question back to you.
So, and I know you guys are going to laugh, but I have been fascinated by Elon Musk for many years now, ever since he just came after the car industry. And I think this goes back to, I remember being in California. I was probably maybe 15 years old with Dad. And I was like, there's so many cars on the road here, Dad. Why don't they do a SkyTrain like we have in Vancouver, or bus system? And I remember my dad saying, California is run by the car industry. They're not going to eliminate cars off. That's how they, Ford, all the big companies are there. Sorry to name names. All the big companies are there. And so I always thought, I guess no one will ever go after the car industry. And he was the first one to go after with the electric car. So I'm curious to see how his mind operates, where he gets these ideas from, how he finds the team to execute them. I mean, yes, he's not always done right things. He does some things that are questionable. But I do like the way he is changing the way the world is going with this electric cars, and he's now going after energy efficient homes, solar. Like he's just changing.
He's a great visionary.
Yeah.
Great visionary.
And I admire that. So I would love to just, interview him.
He's challenging the
and get him
status
in a
quo.
very authentic way where the guards are down and he's not going to tell me what he thinks I want to hear more.
Yeah, with the cameras off type of thing.
Yeah. So that was my answer.
Great.
But I think we're good. I think we can wrap it up now, guys.
Okay. No, you got any more questions for us?
I do, but I think we can save it for another episode.
I think the viewers have had enough of us for today.
I think so. So who wants to close the show?
I closed the last one. How about Rose, you close this one?
Okay.
All right, here we go, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us. We appreciate the views, and we actually appreciate any feedback. So if there's any content or anything you want us to discuss, please feel free to leave a message. Subscribe, like, and please share this. And thank you for watching.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye for
See ya.
now.